Pisces, welcome, welcome, welcome to 2023, the month of July. Work, health, travel, and more are on the agenda for you in this very interesting, if not somewhat intense month ahead. We're going to be talking a bit about how the exaltation lord of your sign, Venus, is up to some surprises in love and money for you, and how some tension with a business or relationship partner can heat up as we get deep into the deeps of the month of July. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac and, of course, whole sign houses. If you're new to my channel, please hit my like button, subscribe, and get ready for this big giveaway. Just join my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter. I give you a weekly forecast every weekend in your inbox. And by joining that newsletter, I'm gifting all new people who sign up access to my 2023 60-minute times 12 videos for each sign. It's called the All Signs Bundle. You can listen for your sun, moon, and rising, share with friends and family. It's going to be open cart as of the solstice of June the 21st for free access to all signs. Yes, we're halfway through the year. So you can look back at the first 6 months and forward at what's to come. And it's no longer for sale at $47, but free. Just jump into my newsletter and it's all yours. All right. Let's get talking about this sky. This sky is interesting, to say the least. I'm going to start off like I'm doing with every single sign and let you know about a particularly intense aspect that hasn't happened since the 1700s that's going to dominate the energy of the month of July, mid-July into mid-August. And that energy that we're speaking of is the energy of Pluto at the bending of the nodes, the south bending of the nodes of fate, means square the nodes of fate. And basically that forms what looks like one of these triangles in the heavens. The nodes are going to be at 29 and 29, Libra and Aries. That's the nodes of fate moving into this part of the sky. Look for my separate video on that. I have got one in December and a new one out as well. That new nodal axis will give rise to eclipses over the next year and a half, 2 years in the Libra and in the Aries axis. But in the month of July, mid-July to mid-August, there is a very tense energy between Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn in retrogradation, squaring those nodes. And what does that mean for everyone? Well, we're going to talk about first what it means for you in mid-July to mid-August, and then we're going to go breaking down some of the events of the month ahead. I can't cover every single thing that happens in the month, so subscribe to my channel to get a lot of more in-depth content about each of these events. I also don't cover the new moon, full moon cycles unless it's for your sign, because I do huge, long, in-depth videos about that as well during the month ahead. So you can get that content a la carte separately from this, if that makes sense. So let's talk first about the bending of the nodes of fate as it applies to you. Don't forget, 1870s is the last time this happened, so hey, 1700s was the last time this happened. So, hey, I think it was 1760s. You're not going to see this, again in your life. So you may as well pay attention. So bending of the nodes of fate energy is a lot of tension between Pluto, who wants something to transform in your larger groups of belonging, or a deep and profound transformation of what you wish your hopes and dreams and wishes to become for your very life, and the way that you create gains in your career as well. We're talking about Pluto in your 11th house. And the middle of July to the middle of August, this is on the table. You may even want to transform wholesale the groups of belonging and friendships you have, the tribes, the cult, the societies, the clubs, the way you connect with others in chosen groups of connecting. All right. And the nodes are performing this pressure from houses 8 and 2. Now that's an axis that has to do with money. So a lot of this, including house 11, is a money house. So I will say there's a crucible around resources and finances and purpose and dreams and goals for your life that is really intensifying mid-July to mid-August. Some of the intensity can come through powerful friends as allies, elder sibling energy, or as I said, a deep desire to transform your entire dreams and wishes of your life and what you wish to accomplish in planet Earth in your incarnation. That said, let's go into the little details of the month ahead. I'm going to go in chronological order as best as I can. You might want to grab a pen. If I'm talking too fast, slow it down by playing the slow down speed button that YouTube gives you for free, rather than telling me I'm talking too fast. So let's talk about the very beginning of the month. Starting on July 1st, July 1st, 2nd, there's going to be Mercury in the heart of the sun. That's a kazimi. It's divine downloads. It's very powerful. This is a particularly juicy kazimi. This is one of the best ones. The reason I really like this, especially for you, is this kazimi will form a trine to Saturn in the house of your identity. Saturn is moving through Pisces until 2026, helping you become more realistic, more responsible, more action, response able in your own life. You're becoming adulted up in some way. You may feel older, more tired, more desiring to be inward and solitudinous, but nonetheless, that's what Saturn's up to. And during his retrogradation here, he comes into this time where Mercury goes into the heart of the sun in the sign of Cancer, which is your fifth house of romantic love, sexuality, independent business, entrepreneurial endeavors, your children, and your creativity. And Mercury in the heart of the sun for you Cappies can be a really profound download, insight, or inception of something that is important to you, a new idea, a new project, a new creation, a new child, or even something to do with a new romance or a deepening of an existing romance or sexual energy. This is going to happen, as I said, July 1st and 2nd, but it's also forming at the same time a trine to Saturn in the house of your identity and body, but it's also forming a sextile to Jupiter, who's moving through the sign of Taurus, your third house. Therefore, this could invite in an opportunity for travel, for something that's happening in the neighborhood that's particularly powerful for you, or some connection to a sibling, or even the opportunity to learn something that you would say, oh, I have a natural talent at this, and now, download Mercury, I'm going to learn this talent or skill by signing up for a course. Just a few examples. But mostly I'd say it's a very positive influence in your life, and you can harness the kazimi. I'm going to be doing a webinar, so if you subscribe to my channel, I'll be announcing when, to work with this energy on the day of the kazimi in a meditative state, because it is a flowing and powerful energy on July 1st and 2nd for you and everyone. Then we move forward in space-time, and we want to mention that Venus is going to square Uranus. Sudden, unexpected, and dramatic surprises or news or information or changes to do with love and money stories for the most part. Now, the first time this is going to happen, this month of July, is going to happen on July 2nd. Yes, right around that time of the kazimi, there's going to be a big intensity around what Venus would say is important in your life as she moves through Leo. And where is Leo for you? Leo is your house of pets, tenancy agreements, debts, karmic and real, things to do with your work and health routines. And all of a sudden, Venus squares Uranus in the house of short trips and travel, online world, siblings, education that's skills-based. And so there's this energy on July the 2nd that will replay out on the 22nd, on August the 9th, and on September 29th because of retrogradation. Venus is in your sixth house until October 9th. Sudden unexpected changes around a pet, your health, your work. But Venus is a benefic, and she's doing her best here to bring you something positive in these areas. So it could be a great time for a job opportunity, an interview, a chance to travel for an interview, a chance to get a job that requires you to travel. Just a few ideas around July the 2nd. Look for breakthrough and sudden exciting energy there. And remember that it will play out again on August the 9th and September the 29th. All three of those are applicable to the same story in three parts. Moving forward a little bit more in time, we're going to have a time on the 7th to the 10th of July where you're going to experience Mercury in a sextile to Uranus. It's just like Venus, like, oh, what's the exciting news? But it's coming from conception, childbirth, pregnancy, and creativity, where Mercury did that kazimi. And that fifth house energy is now going to come alive with a shocking awe energy from the third house. This definitely could be some news coming through the online world, especially because the third house can represent that. And it may be pertaining to one of your children or your romantic love life or your sexuality or projects that you're creating as a creative type individual. So it's exciting, and it is actually positive. It's a sextile. It brings opportunity between July 7th and the 10th. Possibly, I'll just say, you never know. Mercury rules games of chance and competition games like that, and like lotteries. He can be a part of that, and he is going to maybe say you win a local lottery or something like that. For some of you, it's possible, not probable, but it could happen July 7th to the 10th. On July the 10th, Virgo. Mars moves out of Leo, where he spent 6 weeks dancing with Venus, and he moves into the sign of Virgo on July 10th, where he will be for approximately 6 weeks. Well, the Virgo part of your sky is your significant relationships, your marriage partner, significant monogamous, committed relationship partner, your business partner. And if you have a business where you reach out to clients, audience, and marketplace, that's the same place. Mars is in neutral dignity as he moves through your 7th house. So he's not necessarily causing a great deal of harm. He's traveling with the goddess of knowledge and wisdom, which is pretty sweet, but she can also look like a lawyer. I'm going to say that if you have any tensions in an existing love life story, a marriage type story, because this is a once every 2-year transit, you go through this rather regularly, but it can cause tensions with the main squeeze that you're with, or with a business partner, or having a really gnarly client, or mortal combat with a client or customer or something like that. So just be careful not to get into fights in those 6 weeks that start July 10th at 6 weeks with your partner. But Mars also causes separation, and there'd be nothing more than your partner and you are separated, maybe for travel. Mars is a god of travel as well. So maybe it's just simply an indicator that between roughly July 10th, add 6 weeks, there's going to be a time in which you're separated from someone significant in your life. It's not necessarily the end of the world. I'm not too worried about it at all. Venus will be in your 7th house after October 9th, sweetening up the love story. So all is well, all is well. Moving forward in time, we move to July the 18th to the 22nd. Now, on that window of time, you're going to have Mars, who's in that 7th house, looking across at Saturn in the house of your identity. That's going to be a tension that you're feeling personally and directly between July 18th and 22nd. You're Saturn, you're saying, put on the brakes, hold up, let's be careful. I'm responsible. I've got the maturity here. And some Mars person is poking at you across the way. It could be a client, it could be a business partner, it could be your significant marriage partner. It certainly can cause tension between you and some significant other. July 7th to July 18th to the 22nd, duck. Just be careful, okay? If you don't really want to fight with somebody, don't. You have a lot of strength as Saturn, and Mars over there you're both in neutral dignity, but you're learning about boundaries with Saturn. You're learning about holding your own accountability and being able to say no in a healthy, meaningful way, and to build foundations from this sort of new sense of sober, realistic, responsible, mature energy. So if there's somebody that's demanding something of you, anybody, across the way, you're there to say, just wait a minute here. And that will be July 18th to the 22nd. As we move forward in time, on July the 22nd, Venus will retrograde, and she'll be retrograde till September the 4th. Now, she's been for a long time, and will be 4 months, but June through to October in your 6th house of pets and rentals and health issues and work routines, because it's a house of sickness. She's bonifying you there, trying to make sure you are not sick. But you have to pay attention to this energy, because it's possible that therefore on the 22nd of the month of, on the 20th, did I get the date right? Yeah, on the 22nd, when she retrogrades, you'll go back over an old health issue. You go back to an old job that you've had before, and your old job from the past may return to you as an opportunity. You may go back and rent a property you've rented. You may take possession of a pet again, or a new pet, or something like that. So the retrogradation window of time, July 22nd to September 4th, begins on July 22nd. I'm going to go back a smidgen and talk about Mercury. On July 11th, Mercury does move into Leo. Okay, so this is the territory where Venus is spending 4 months. So after his stay in the sign of your romantic life, your children, lots more communications with your children, lots more discussions in your romantic life, perhaps a lot more ideas coming through your business enterprise, etc. Then on July the 11th to the 29th, Mercury in the sign of Leo with Venus there is definitely very information oriented. A lot of conversations, calls, news going back and forth. Very, very possible. Again, negotiating contracts for work, going back and forth and negotiating rental property deals as a landlord or leasee, maybe even refinancing something, Venus, Mercury in a house of debt, refinancing a debt of some sort, can all be playing out for you during the window of time that goes through July 11th to the 29th with Mercury in the 6th house. It's a good time for having medical tests and procedures done, as well with benefic Venus, making sure all the right solutions are found for any challenges to your health at that time. Now, to finish the month up, we're going to have Mercury in a whoa, I forgot something for you. I'm going to mention also that Mercury, no, I'm going to skip that. It's not that big a deal. And then we're going to talk about July the 22nd to the 25th and also July 27th. This is the last part of this message for you. Mercury will square Uranus. That's shocking, unexpected, radically, jolting energy for sure. And to do with information or news. Okay, so can be about commerce as well. Depends on your chart. For you, Mercury is moving through Leo. She's got Venus there holding for it, bonifying, but she is retrograde. And so we've got something about Venus going backwards to something from the past, and then Mercury sending a kind of a square jolt to Uranus in the 3rd house. So a sibling, something in your local neighborhood, a travel opportunity from all connected to your past, surprising you in some way, or even a rental opportunity, surprising you in some way, around July 22 to 25. And on July the 27th, Mercury and Venus co-join. Now, this is not a negative thing because Venus is a benefic here in Leo, acting very like I ride tigers in my spare time. And Mercury is going to come into here in neutral dignity, and they're going to become one at 28 degrees of Leo. Certainly, this is an energy that's significant. And for some of you, if you have any planetary placements at 28 degrees of Leo, add the meaning of that planet in there. But certainly Venus and Mercury means benefic news, positive news developments, positive information, a positive contract, a positive negotiation. Something good is trying to happen. Now, don't forget, there was a jolt of upset on the 22 to the 25th. There's some unexpected developments, but it becomes kind of constellated in that Mercury-Venus conjunction on the 28th as a happy ending. And then lastly, I will just say to you this, and then I'm done. That Saturn transit that you have for 3 years is important. I had it already. I'm an Aquarius rising. It's once every 30 years. It finishes up in February of 2026. Take the time to learn what Saturn wants to teach you. He is a taskmaster, but he is also the sage, the senex, the wise man, the wise woman. And at some time in this journey, depending on the degree of your ascendant, early degree Pisces or late degree, over the next 3 years, you're going to be learning something fundamental to create a new foundation for your life because you understand yourself at a new foundational level. And it will create a foundation in your life that will last almost 30 years. So just know that this is one of the most important transits of your life. Alrighty. Stay tuned for my next video coming out. It'll be probably coming out after this on, what am I talking about next? Go check out the Nodes of Fate from December, moving into Aries Libra, and the new Nodes of Fate video that should be out shortly after this video, just before it, to go deeper into that intensity of what's happening mid-July to mid-August, as well as over the next 2 years. Thanks, guys, for listening. Have a wonderful month of July.